Alright folks, today I'm going to put some mushroom head guitar strap knobs on my ukuleles. Now I will tell you, as a collector of many things, I have it is ingrained in me to leave things in original condition, you know, the whole mint in box thing. So I have some trepidation about poking holes in the end of both my tenor Fender ukulele and my Grateful Dead ukulele by Alvarez, but I'm just tired of fighting with the ukulele and holding it and it's slipping all the time when you play it, and I'm going to show you why. The problem with the ukulele is that that doesn't have a strap on it is that if you're strumming with this hand, you obviously can't hold the ukulele, and so that means you got to hold it with this hand, which works fine when you're playing chords like D, and then you go to an F and an A minor. You always got your thumb and your fingers holding the ukulele. But if you have to transition from a chord like a C to a D, it helps to kind of let go of that and reposition your whole hand. And it just moving up and down, you're constantly wanting to drop the ukulele or lose grip of it, or twist one way or the other depending on how fat your belly is. So so I really need to use a strap on this, so we're going to put a guitar strap knob on this end so that we don't have those problems. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the proper drill bit. Now this drill bit here, so what I want to do is I want to pick a drill bit that is the same diameter as the solid part of the screw, but is no bigger than that, because if I'm bigger than that, I start eating into the area where the threads are. And so I want all the threads to grip the wood, but I don't want to put pressure on the wood that would cause it to crack by basically inserting the solid part into the wood. I want to drill that wood out so the solid part is not creating pressure on the wood, but the threads are gripping into the wood. The other thing I want to do is I've checked both of these ukuleles. I don't know if I can get my camera to get a good angle down in there, but you want to make sure that there's a block of wood on the end of your ukulele to help hold that, support that guitar strap knob. Probably any good ukulele is going to have a little block sets in here about like this on the end of the ukulele to kind of hold everything together and reinforce it. If you get a inspection mirror, like for looking at car parts, you know, one of those little long things with the little bitty mirror on the end that you can insert down in there, you can certainly see that a lot better. I just don't have one at the moment. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to mark the center of the ukulele where I want to put the drill bit. If it wasn't easy to tell, you could maybe take a piece of paper and center it between the two middle strings, bring it down across here, fold it, and get a center line. On this ukulele, it's pretty easy to see. I have a center line there where the wood comes together, so all I got to measure is the distance in between the top and the bottom, mark that in the middle, and that'll be the exact center of my ukulele. For the Alvarez Grateful Dead, I've got a similar situation there. Hopefully that comes out in the camera. You can see that center line right there. So that makes it pretty easy for me to pick the center of the ukulele. Alright, so let me show you one more trick before we get started here. If you don't have a ruler or tape measure or something to measure between the top and the bottom and you want to get the exact center, here's a little trick you can do. You can use this to measure the half distance between anything. I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm just going to set it there, and I'm going to fold it here at the top. So I got that fold there, and then I'm just going to fold this in half to where it meets that crease, and then that, where that is creased right there, gives me my center point. So I can just set the ukulele there, set the crease up there, and that point right there at the end of the paper is my exact center point for drilling my hole. So pretty easy way to do that. Alright, so the next thing I want to do, I want to put a little painter's tape on here just to make sure that I kind of cover where I'm going to drill, and that the drill doesn't want to pry out any of the wood fibers this way and make them stick out. So I'm just going to put a little piece of painter's tape on there where I want to drill, and that will make sure that I don't damage this end of the ukulele. Alright, so I got a little piece of tape here, and I'm just going to put this over the middle of the line there. I don't need a really very big piece of tape, and I'm going to put my piece of paper on there that measures my halfway point on my ukulele like that. Put some tape underneath there so it angles a little better for the camera. I'm going to line this up with the center line of my ukulele, and we know that's halfway down when this crease is sitting on top there. So measure that up, and that point right there is where I want to drill. So we're just going to mark that, and that's where we're going to drill that. Since pens don't like to mark on painter's tape real well, I've got me a little mechanical pencil here that will do the job a little bit better. So I'm marking X this way, marking X this way. So our drill point's right there. Alright, so now we're ready to drill. This is the scary part for me. You might, if you got something, you might want to get a start on, or poke a little dent or something there to make sure the drill doesn't slip. I've got this point pressed into the paper here pretty good, and I'm fairly confident that it isn't going to go anywhere. So we're going to start slow. Alright, so we drilled all the way through. The other thing the painter's tape does is when the drill goes all the way through, if it goes through quick, you don't want these jaws of the drill scratching up the end of your ukulele. So the painter's tape also helps protect against those jaws of the drill from chewing on the end when the hole completes. Alright, so at this point I can take this painter's tape off. I've got a nice neat little hole there. So next we're going to take our screw and our mushroom head end and the little pad they give you for it, and we're going to screw that in there. Now if you got a little bit of bar soap, you can rub that on the screw. That makes it go in nice and easy. I'll probably do that. Alright, so we got a little bit of Irish Spring here. We'll just rub the threads across that a little bit. So we got some soap on there. That'll decrease the friction, help put the screw in there a little bit. And we'll insert this through the mushroom head with the fat side towards us. And then we'll put the little felt washer on there. That'll help cushion this from the wood. And then we'll screw it in here. Now I think the drill bit that I used may actually be a little bit on the skinny side, but I'd rather go that way than have it too loose, and then I'm stuck with just a hole in my ukulele and nothing to plug it. Alright, as it gets close to tightening up here, you want to check this because you don't want to over tighten it and strip out the wood. That would be bad. So you can still see this turns real freely, and the washer still turns, so it's not quite tight. So we'll keep going. Alright, so I can see that that's butted up against that felt washer there. Pretty good. Let me give it a little quarter of a turn. Alright, so that seems to be pretty secure, so we're done with this one. We'll do the Alvarez next. Alright, so same process on this. I can see my center line here because it's baked into the ukulele. So I'm going to put the paper here on the bottom edge. and fold it here at the top. Fold that length there, that's the length of the whole bottom of the ukulele, fold that in half. All right. And so now this half here is my halfway point down the ukulele. So right there, stick a little piece of painter's tape on there across the midline. Line this up with the midline left to right. Or at the end of this is my drill point. So we'll make a line this way. Make a line this way. And right there where they cross, that's where we'll drill at. Make sure that I've got the drill bit lined up there where I need it to be. Press good and hard so it doesn't slip. Start slow. There we go. We got a hole. So on the Fender ukulele, this screw here was just a little tighter than I would like it, but the next drill bit up was too big. So I'm going to wobble this one just a little bit, just to get the hole a little bit bigger. But not a lot. Alright, so we'll pull the tape off there. Rubber screw on our soap. Insert it through the mushroom head button. Put our felt washer on there. And screw it in tight. Get it started. Yeah, this is going in much easier. Just wobbling that drill bit just a little bit is making a world of difference on how this goes in. It would help if the screwdriver was a little better, but it's not my screwdriver. So beggars can't be choosers. Alright, I can see that starting to tighten up there on the felt washer, but it still moves a little bit, so tighten it up snug. Felt washer doesn't move, so I'm going to call that one done too. So now to playing with a strap so the ukulele doesn't fall all over the place on me. Alright, so I just got this music strap from Music First. It's I guess just a regular old hippie ukulele strap, and but it's got the leather ends have holes on both ends, so I can use this end on my button strap holder, my strap holder button here, and then I'll just tie this across the top underneath the strings, and I'll have me a ukulele strap. So we'll put our brand new button here to use. All right. Insert our string underneath the strings of the ukulele. Bring it around the other side, and we'll just tie a regular old knot in here. Do that again to make sure it doesn't slip. And voila. Now all we got to do is adjust this. All right, this is way too high for me, so we're going to adjust the strap down. Ugh. You know, I think that's probably just about right for me. I think I need to tune up my uke. All right, much better. Now, I don't have to do anything to hold my ukulele in place, and I can change chords much easier because every time I go to change hand positions, the ukulele's not falling or doing something like this on my oversized belly. So the strap, the ukulele strap will hold it in place because my forearm here can kind of, you can see it flops around like that, but if my forearm's here and I'm strumming, the head of the ukulele is perfectly still, which is going to let me make my chord changes much easier. And if you're just starting out learning the ukulele, the last thing you need is to be making your chord changes and the ukulele's fighting you, flopping all over the place. So if you're a beginner ukulele player, definitely give get your ukulele set up to accept a strap by putting one of these guitar strap buttons on the end of it. Well worth the effort.
We were out on a day